Hello, everybody. Yay. Welcome to another episode of the Bearded Men of Real Estate Show. I'm Ray. Say hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
And this is Dan. And we are both bearded real estate agents, which make us ideal host for the Bearded Men of Real Estate Show. How's it going, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. I'm real good. Oh, I just noticed this is crooked. Watch this. That satisfied some folks. It's less.
It did.
Now.
It's been bugging me. I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, we're trying a new setup. So check out this. My office is still under construction, which I know a lot of you know, but there it is. So you could see some of the stuff over here. There you go. Now it's out. So I have a little light, a little soft light here, a little light here. We got one in the back, so it's all golden now.
It's slowly getting there, and I'm making changes to mine as well. So literally the last couple of weeks have been us like getting ready is not just prepping for the show, but also prepping studios and microphones. And you can see I went back to the boom mic. It's just the whole thing.
I like the boom.
Mm-hmm.
If you are watching the show and this is your first time, Bearded Men of Real Estate Show is a show dedicated to news and headlines, adding value. Dan's going to tell us everything it means in just a second. But if you're watching us live, you can comment, and then we could talk about you, or we could talk about the comment, just like this one right there from Melissa Mars. She said, "Twins, we're twinning." I didn't even plan it today. I mean, well, I planned to wear my Bearded Men of Real Estate show on a Wednesday, but I didn't. We have another one, a gray one. So
we do, and we both went blue today. By the way, now when I pull up this, I can't. The beard's gotten so long, I can't. I have to pull it out.
I had to do a COVID trim, first trim since COVID. So I should make a note, since we're talking about t-shirts, that we are about to pick up the Listen, Love, Learn t-shirts, and then I'll be charging those as we mail it and confirm you guys' sizes. But I just wanted to make sure we had all your sizes and stuff. So
yeah, and everyone should have gotten an email already telling them that about. Yes. It was a little while ago when Kaylee sent that out.
2 weeks ago. Yeah, whenever we put in the order, we sent you a email. There were a couple of people that increased some, so that was cool. We're going to be giving some money away soon. So Melissa Mars says there's no bypassing the beard.
You can't. It's just
Okay, so we're going to get into the show. We got a ton to talk about. We're going to talk about there's a cure, right? We're going to talk about mortgage demand, home sales, forbearance, builder sentiment. But before we get into all this stuff, Dan, could you tell people what the Bearded Men of Real Estate show is actually all about?
Yeah, I'd love to. Now, when Ray and I met pretty much exactly 3 years ago, as my cats go totally nuts. Ray, you remember 3 years ago?
Yeah, I do. I love 3 years ago.
It was just a great time 3 years ago. But I had an idea for a show because I am, in fact, a bearded man of real estate. And when I met Ray, I noticed something very interesting about him.
Oh, really? What was that?
He only has his receipts emailed. Did you guys know that about him?
I wish that was the case. I have actually. There's one of these boxes in the background that is a box of receipts. It's terrible.
That's just a fun fact about Ray. Yeah, he only gets his receipts emailed.
Fun fact. Snopes.
No, I noticed that he obviously had a beard as well, but he had a layout for the show, and it's the same layout we do today. But what I also noticed is that Ray loves giving value up front to his clients. So the show is about being more as an agent, but also being more as a human.
Yep. Be more. Give value to your people. So this, just like every week I say, articles that we were talking about earlier, even the pool article came up in conversations. Yes, we're going to talk about Airbnb being just your pool.
Can you Airbnb just your pool?
You can. Swim pretty swimply, actually. More on that later.
I'd love to get that feedback. Would you Airbnb just your pool? So you're hanging out and you're like, oh, I got tenants coming for the pool for the next hour.
And I want to know what you guys think of the name of that company. All right. So you ready to get in the headlines?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Yay.
And look at all this space I have, by the way.
You have this. It is way better than your kitchen.
Yeah. That's a when you have kids to take care of, you kind of set up. That's the other part is I've had to be mobile and transparent and literally changing studios and locations all over the place. So now I'm back to an actual studio.
There you go. All right. So this is the first one. I'm going to leave you up for this, Dan. There is a cure, not actually a cure. I know it's not called a cure. It's a vaccine, but COVID cure has alliteration. And part of the thumbnail says, could the COVID cure crash the market? So we have alliteration there. We're going to talk more about that at the very end of the show. What does this mean for real estate? Because right now real estate's booming, and it's because of all this pent up demand and because of the low mortgage rate, which is brought about by COVID-19. So what happens if there's a cure and all that goes away? So here's an article about the cure. And no, every time I say the cure, I actually do mean the vaccine, not the 1978 English ripen from West Sussex. So
those memes were great, though. By the way, when the first month, hey, the cure is here, and it was Robert Smith all with his makeup on and his crazy hair.
So heading into trials with up to 30,000 participants in the next month, Pfizer has a vaccine that the U.S. has agreed to pay $1.95 billion to produce if it works. The U.S. will offer to Americans at no cost. Early stage clinical trials showed some neutralization antibodies, which research believes is necessary to build immunity for the virus. So the deal was signed as part of the Operation Warp Speed, the Trump administration's effort to accelerate development and production of vaccines and treatments to fight coronavirus.
I thought that was a branch of the Space Force.
They should have called it like Plaid, like Spaceballs. But
yeah.
Operation Plaid. So Alex Azar said, and he's the Health and Human Services Secretary, we're not concerned about supply chain. We've secured that to be able to ensure that we'll be able to vaccinate the American people once we get vaccines that are demonstrated safe and effective to the FDA's gold standard of approval and authorization. So there you go. Chris Berry said, at first I thought they were paying $1.95 billion to what?
Well, there's Price Pfister. That's the
Pfister? I've never seen that one.
It's a appliance, not an appliance company. It's like they make sinks and faucets and stuff.
Pfister? I don't even know that company. So Tim Macy said, ridiculously good-looking men. Hi, Tim. Thanks for checking out the show today. Hey, Tim's got a contest he's doing for a free teleprompter too, but you'd only know about that if you actually go to the RETV group. So be on the lookout for this contest that's coming up.
And if you're not part of the RETV group, go join the RETV group.
Yeah, you should totally do that. I'll drop the link in there while you're doing the article.
All right.
So we're going to talk about this at the end of the show. Tag people, share this thing, get it out there, because we'd like to have other agents, loan officers, title people in at the end, especially as we talk about what's going to happen if there's a vaccine. Is it going to hurt the real estate market? Is it going to slow everything down? Are rates going to go back up to normal? What's going to happen?
By the way, normal's been 3.5. So
yeah.
And that's my prediction for the year. So they can go up to 3.5. That would be fine. And by the way,
Zach, aloha from Maui.
I am going to be saying something very controversial. So you need to stick through till the end.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. Super duper controversial. So go ahead, stick through to the end. All right. Weekly mortgage demand from homebuyers jumps even higher, up 19% annually. Homebuyer demand is heating up. And when you add that to strong refinance demand, the total mortgage volume rose 4.1% from the previous week. Low rates are only adding to already strong buyer demand. Mortgage applications to purchase home rose 2% for the week and were a stunning, that's my own word, I put stunning in there, 19% higher than a year ago. That is the 9th straight week of annual gains, and last week's 19% was also wider than previous weeks. Joel Kahn. So it seems, Ray, that lately you've been reading the Joel Kahn quotes, but I actually got a Joel Kahn.
You got one. You got one this time.
Kahn. If you don't know that, then you don't know what Star Trek is. So anyway, Joel Kahn notes that the average 30-year fixed rate mortgage rose slightly to 3.2%, but some credit-worthy borrowers are being offered rates even below 3%. That's insane. And refis regularly 2.75, 2.85%. So that helped push refinance application volume up 5% for the week and up 122%. That's a lot. That's more than double compared to the same week 1 year ago. And that is according to the seasonally adjusted index data. The refinance share of mortgage activity increased to 64%, 64.8% of total applications from 64.2% the previous week. So this boom is mostly from where over 50% of it is from refinances, which obviously we know why.
Right.
And it only seems to be getting more and more and more with the refinances because the purchases only went up 2%.
But it's still up.
It's still up for sure. It's still up. The most of it has been the refi, but it's still up. And we're still seeing just as many buyers coming through. So nothing's really slowing down out here.
It really goes to show you just how many refis that you have, because in the next article, which I can go ahead and get into, one of the things that we see is that existing home sales surged nearly 21% in June. That's the highest monthly gain on record.
On record.
On record. Yeah. So if it exists on the market, it is selling for the most part. Existing home sales surged, spike, rocket shipped, whatever you want to say, to 21% higher than the previous month. This is the largest monthly gain since 1968 when realtors began tracking this statistic. However, sales were still down 11.3% versus last year. This is a quote from Mr. Lawrence Yun. He said the housing market is hot, red hot, based on the data and the anecdotal prevalence of multiple offers. He's the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, by the way. He goes on to say the urban area is less hot. I thought that was kind of funny.
I like that optic, less hot.
It's hot. It's red hot. The urban area is less hot.
It's less hot.
Right. We're clearly seeing trends for smaller towns or suburbs. Now, this flies in the face of a report from Zillow that when all this COVID stuff started happening, people said, well, everyone's going to start looking outside of the cities and outside of urban areas. They're going to start looking at the suburbs. They're going to start spreading out. And Zillow said, we're not really seeing that as a search trend.
Oops.
Well, maybe that shows that less people are using your search than low. All right. So
because remember, they're only going off their data.
They can only go off their data,
right.
Which we'll have them later in the show too. We got some data from Zillow. So we are clearly seeing trends for smaller towns and suburbs. Home sales could have been better, but the supply of homes remained at record lows with 1.57 million homes for sale at the end of June, which is 18.2% lower annually. That's 350,000 houses fewer than what we had last year. So here's another quote from Yoon, which I want to get to Tom Tezak too. He just interviewed him for his podcast. He said, we are facing acute inventory shortage, especially at the lower price points. No, not acute, not. Oh, that inventory shortage is so cute.
Oh, it's so cute. Bless its heart.
It's acute. It's so we have an acute inventory shortage, especially at the lower price points. The inventory levels are shrinking and shrinking, which could create a bottleneck for future or for further home sales later. Or I guess he could have just said future home sales. We have another one checking in, Christina Smallhorn. Hello, fellas. Hello, Christina. So Tom said that he interviewed Lawrence Yun from NAR on his podcast. Nice podcast drop there, Tom. Y'all should all go check out Tom's podcast. Drop your podcast in the comments, Tom.
Drop a link below.
And he said Lawrence Yun predicted that interest rates would stay low for 2021. Yeah. I would agree. I mean, I think so, but it depends on if this economy takes off like a rocket ship as soon as, and we'll talk about this at the end, as soon as the coronavirus, what was I thinking? I almost said, instead of vaccine, I almost said the coronavirus vasectomy. So as soon as the coronavirus vaccine hits the market and everything's fine again, you never really
weird cure.
You never really know, if mortgage rates start going up, what's that going to do? Is it going to make people stop buying? Okay, Melissa Marr said acute because it's killing me. Acute BC, it's killing me. Is that because?
Cute. Because, yeah.
Acute because it's killing me.
It's cute because it's killing me.
Okay.
But we have a couple stories that are going to reference the kind of rebound and keeping interest rates low, and could the housing market keep the economy going?
Dun, dun, dun.
So with that, forbearance rates drops to a 2-month low. We kind of mentioned on the show last week, but here are some updated numbers. The forbearance rate of mortgages backed by Fannie and Freddie dropped. By the way, I've stopped calling them Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. They're just Fannie and Freddie. You guys have been, there's no more Fatty. You guys have been watching the show long enough. You know it's Fannie and Freddie. You get it. We're good, right? They dropped to a 3-month low. By the way, just for Fannie and Freddie, dropped to a 3-month low of 5.64%, while the overall rate fell to 7.8. Last week, it was still about a half point higher total. It was in the 8s. That is the lowest in more than 2 months, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. Also, new requests from borrowers for permission to suspend their mortgage payments, measured as a share of serving portfolios, was flat with the prior week. So essentially, no new requests. And that is from Mike Fratantoni. That's Mike Frat and Tony. Mike Frat is the first guy, and then Tony is his partner. Mike Frat and Tony. It's a great podcast. You should check it out.
I don't think that's it.
Sorry, Mike. I love your last name. I really do. So he continued. A spike in new Rona infections, by the way, I call it the Rona. He did not. Primarily in southern states may change that. The pace of new forbearance requests remains quite low compared to earlier in the crisis, but we are watching carefully for any increases due to either the pickup in the Rona cases or a cessation of enhanced unemployment insurance benefits at the end of this month. So not really any new forbearance coming in right now, but an interesting stat may predict an uptick in what is coming. So there has been, and he goes on to say that there has been a pickup in calls to mortgage servicers from borrowers, the MBA report said. Measured as a percent of servicing portfolio volume, calls increased to 8.3% from 7.8%, while the average call length grew from 7.6 minutes to 7.4 minutes. Grew to 7.6 minutes from 7.4 minutes. So I know that's a really, really minutia-like stat, but more calls are coming in about it. So over the past couple of weeks, we've been saying, because I think it was, what did we say on the show? It was, I can go into forbearance. I don't have to pay my mortgage. So obviously there's going to be a large chunk of that happening, but it's been waning in recent weeks, but call volume is up on it. So I just thought that was really, really interesting in this article. I know it's a super, super minute detail, but I think that's a very interesting stat.
How many accidental forbearances are there right now, though? That's what
that's the main question.
That were accidentally forbeared.
Yeah. And who'd we have on? Hudson we had on that accidentally forbeared. You almost accidentally forbeared.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a word? Forbeared? Tom
Tezak says, Selling the Dream podcast is this podcast. You'll go check that out.
He's in Maui, by the way. So the dream of living in Maui. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, Homebuilder sentiment jumps back to pre-coronavirus pandemic high.
High, like, hey.
No, I don't think that's the one.
Oh.
So Homebuilder sentiment jumped way back up to 72 points. Remember, anything over 50 is good. In July, which is 14 points higher than previously recorded, and back to a pre-pandemic high in March. Here's what the NAHB, it's the National Association of Home Builders Chairman Chuck Folk, had to say. Builders are seeing strong traffic and lots of interest in new construction as existing home inventory remains lean. Moreover, builders in the Northeast and in the Midwest are benefiting from demand that was sidelined during the lockdowns in spring. Low interest rates are also fueling demand as we expect housing to lead in the overall economic recovery.
I feel like they change chairmen every week.
I guess they're annual.
Is it
probably?
Annual or is it
I think
weekly?
It's annual. We just haven't. We actually haven't had a quote from them in a long time. Probably since when was the low, in April or May? When it got down to 60 or something like that.
It got close to.
It got pretty low.
No, I think it got into the 50s. Isn't anything above 50 positive, right?
Yeah.
It got like to 57 or 58 or something. Yeah. But I don't think it was.
I think that was the last time we had a quote from him. So it's been a minute.
If that was him, or is he a chairman, or is he the chairman?
He's the chairman. So essentially, they've seen a V-shaped recovery in home builder sentiment. a V-shaped recovery in home sales, a V-shaped recovery in home showings, as we've showed you guys before from the showing time data, a V-shaped recovery in the stock market. Forbearance is not V-shaped.
No,
that's interesting. It's flat now.
Yeah, it's the bottom of a U right now.
Right. Demand. Yeah, mortgage demand. That's been recovering pretty quickly. So I don't know. All signs have pointed to V, which a lot of the big clearinghouses, brokerage houses, had predicted a V-shaped recovery. So it looks like we might be.
Well, and by the way, we still don't know when we're going to have that conversation at the end when I say something very controversial. But
controversy.
That's how you say it if you're fancy. But 72 points. I think that may be the highest ever we've reported on the show, right?
I think it got to that. I want to say I want to say like 73, 74 before, but no, it's right up there with the highest. It's one of the highest, if not the highest.
And we've also been saying the show forever. We need new construction. We need new construction. So to have it be that high again during a pandemic is pretty good sign for that V to continue.
In response to my
oopsie
COVID vasectomy instead of vaccine. Christina says that'd be a real pisser if that was the cure for Rona.
Yeah. And by the way, who had that idea? I don't want to know.
All right. So speaking of construction, that's like the least smoothest transition ever.
I have a really good joke, but I'm not gonna make it.
Okay.
Should I make the joke? I should make the joke.
No, let's just keep going.
It's so good though. I'm just gonna I'll go.
I have to be in the Be More Contributors group for you.
Yeah, I'll go in the Be More Contributors group, and all right. So housing construction posts double-digit gains. Rebounding builder sentiment caused single-family housing starts to rise 17.2% in June. The U.S. Commerce Department reports. The multifamily sector, which includes apartment buildings and condos, increased 17.5% last month. This is a quote from Lawrence Yoon, and this is actually from Tom's show. Just kidding. The housing market is hot.
Hot. We've already
said hot. It's the same quote as before. It's hot, not less hot. It's hot. He is the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors. Home buyers have swiftly moved into the market to take advantage of the unimaginably low mortgage rates. But, he continues, inventory is lacking with a sizable backlog of buyers getting outbid by others. More homes, therefore, need to be built to help relieve the housing shortage. Yoon called the latest increase in housing starts only a bare partial recovery after a shutdown from the Rona pandemic. He says the country needs at least, this is a lot, right? At least 1.5 million units. Building more homes also has an added benefit of boosting the local economic growth, Yoon adds. In the meantime, expect multiple offers to be common on many mid-priced homes for the remainder of the year.
So this goes back to what we were talking about the housing availability. It's currently 1.57 million homes, which is 350,000 less than last year. And last year was strained inventory. So basically we need to double the available homes.
And we need to double it through. So either that's new listings that come to the market or new construction. Now, new listings can obviously come to the market much quicker than new construction, but with sentiment up, I think it's going to keep growing. And in the coming months, I think we're going to have more starts than ever.
Lisa Perk comments that we are hot. Now, I'm probably taking that out of context.
Not the market. No.
Fire emoji. She might be referring to the market, but I'm pretty sure she's talking about us.
It's us.
So speaking of a hot market and multiple offer situations, Zillow is out with their weekly report, which is
Zillow data.
We'll kind of take a look at that together. So this is the Zillow data. Some say data. Some say data.
I say data, but only to keep it fresh on the show, just to have both sides on the show. It's the only reason I say data.
So here's a quote from Zillow economist Jeff Tucker. As surprising as it might seem at the time, sellers who forged ahead with listing their homes this spring were richly rewarded when buyers buoyed by record low mortgage rates flooded their listings with offers. Now, word is getting out that the housing market is on solid ground. So more listings are belatedly rushing to the market. Extended. Sorry, I can't keep doing it. I keep laughing. I'm holding back a laugh. Extending the busy spring shopping season well into summer. So the average days on market recorded by Zillow, 20, which is the fastest they've ever had on record since they started tracking it.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
Now,
I thought
where
I
are
could
they
bring.
getting that? That's not just their data. Where are they getting that?
They have it at the end here.
No, I mean, are they pulling it from their data only or just national statistics? Because they don't have that data necessarily.
Data is aggregated from public sources and listing data on Zillow.com. Newly pending sales and for sale listings reflect only daily counts using a smooth 7-day trailing average. Total for sale listings, days pending, and median list price data reflect weekly counts using a smoothed 4-week trailing average.
So from the data they
That's
steal, that's where they got it.
Yeah. Or buy. All right, so pre-pandemic forecast, home shopping season were put on ice. That didn't happen. So home values continued their steady upward trajectory in June.
Yoy.
Here's the home value index versus the year over year. It's 4.3% higher than last year nationwide. Let's see.
I think we're going to be reporting numbers next month on this month and June. I think we're going to see bigger year over year because there are things like, dude, we had a couple that got bid up and they appraised. And then just yesterday, I was told by our lender that we don't even need an appraisal on one we're in escrow on the buy side. It's not even, we're in escrow already and we're removing our appraisal contingency like 3 days in.
Yep.
We're not even getting one. We're good. And we're above asking by 16 grand. And they're like, we're good. We're fine. Everything's fine.
In the week ending July 11, new listings grew 2.1% from the previous week, a much needed increase in a market start for inventory. Despite more new listings coming on the market, total inventory still fell 1.1%.
That's not that bad. 1.1. We just need more. Inventory needs to be growing, obviously.
Yeah. Let's see. Newly pending sales fall as lack of inventory takes toll. So basically, both Zillow and Lawrence Yun, this is kind of where the powers collide. Both of them say that had we had more stuff to sell, sales would be higher.
Well, yeah.
It's not always like that, though. You can have more stuff to sell, but right now, yeah.
Right now, that's pretty much a given. If you put something on the market, you have to grossly misprice it. I mean,
right.
There's buyers, to me, in my perspective, in my experience, buyers are still very price sensitive. They still know that things are worth, if it's well under their budget or within their budget, and right now, remember, a lot of people have been saving. A lot of people have been fixing their credit. A lot of people still have jobs. So they're ready right now and they've been doing their research. So things are still very price sensitive, but if they're close, I mean, it may not get bid way over asking if it's priced a little under, but so that is interesting to me.
Christine Smallhorn's got to run. She says, always great info, guys. Got to run. Thanks for all you do. Thank you for checking out the show. Sandy Sternshine says,
Sandy Sternshine, dude. That's my high school buddy.
Yeah. Oh, really? Sternshine. I like
high school buddy and filmmaker.
There you go.
He's working on right now. Sandy, where are you at? You're in editing, right? It's a movie called Later Days.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Zillow's home price forecast improves. Here's the for sale inventory. That's interesting. Here's the days pending, which they said was the lowest was right at.
Ooh, that's kind of cool. All right. So I hate Zillow, but you can do cool graphs on there.
Yeah. For sale pending views. For sale page views is up 42%.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. The median sale price. So the median, what is that?
Wow.
262,000.
Yeah.
I thought it said up here. Wait. The median list price is 340. The median sell price is 262. So let's talk about the difference in a median and an average. A median is in the middle. So that means that half sell for more than 262 and half the homes in the US sell for less than 262. So there you go.
Wow.
Yep. So they got some cool graphs. I think they released this report weekly. Yeah, weekly market summary. So if you're ever curious about it, I think the newsworthy part was that it was the fastest. Homes are selling the fastest ever. Paige says hi. Hi, Paige. Hey, congrats on your big sale, by the way. She sold this beautiful luxury listing.
Beautiful. Look at Sandy's comment. 4 hours.
Wow. Sold our home in 4 hours.
Yeah. They are in, he's in Orange County. I forget if it's Anaheim or it might be Orange where he is, but it's just hot everywhere. Super duper on fire. So they sold that's quick. 4 hours is pretty quick.
All right. So
also, I'd like to recommend that your agent waits a whole weekend and then gets more offers, but I'll just throw a little bit of shade. Just kidding, buddy. Love you.
Not in our area.
Oh, there you go. Orange. Yeah. So if we have the coming soon thing and boom.
Yeah. Let's see. Paige said, thanks. Just went pending on another in 18 hours. Wow. Yeah. Sandy said they went pending coming soon. Never got a sign. Wow.
Never even got a sign. There was one I showed the other day. It already had a bunch of showings and the photographer was there. I'm like, you got a bunch of showings and he already had basic pictures up there with cell phone, but he's doing the right thing and getting the right pictures up there. But I mean, the thing's going to be sold before he even gets the pictures back from the photographer.
Yeah.
And this is a really nice house, really, really dialed house. We did offer on it, but we went a different route.
All right. So speaking of going a different route, what's happening with Realogy and Cartus? And first, Dan, what is Realogy or Realogy and what is Cartus?
Well, I don't even know. What is Cartus, Ray?
No, go ahead. You tell me.
Okay. So, Realogy is let's see.
Realogy. Realogy.
I say Realogy. Realogy.
Oh, wait. Sandy says back to editing. Great stuff. Podcast link. Yeah, eventually we'll have a podcast link. Right now, we'll just link back to this. And we also put it on YouTube so you can listen to it on YouTube. But thanks for checking it out.
We did have a podcast and then Spotify bought Anchor and
they bought us.
And they try to control us and we don't like to be
That's right.
controlled. So here, literally straight up, here's the definition. Here's it doesn't even say how to say it, but Realogy. That sounds so weird. They're an American publicly owned real estate and relocation services company. It owns and franchises several real estate brands and brokerages and offers relocation, title, and settlement services. So Cartus is their relocation firm, I guess you would call it, Ray?
Yeah.
And Madison Dearborn Partners and Serva were supposed to close a deal and purchase that subsidiary called Cartus. So a Delaware court has rejected real estate giant Realogy's bid to compel, I love that word, Madison Dearborn Partners and Serva Worldwide to close a $400 million deal to purchase the relocation arm of Realogy, which is called Cartus. Realogy had accused MDP and Serva of using the Rona to avoid closing the deal. Now, I have a question. So if that is true, does Realogy really want to force them to close during, everything that's going on? So to bring a lawsuit for it, and they're saying, well, I mean, the reason wasn't that, and then the judge threw it out. But
Chris is checking out. Thanks for checking out the show, Chris. He says Realogy. We get corrected on that every time. I just don't know why they didn't spell it that way. If you want us to say Realogy, spell it Realogy.
I can't find Realogy. Realogy.
Someone told me it was Realogy. I thought, no, that's not it.
It's not the Realogy. It's Realogy.
Right. Anyway.
Realogy. You know what? I'm going to keep saying it how I say it. You can't tell me what to do.
Well, Chris. It's not Realogy because the O is not before the L.
No, but it's R-E, and then A-L.
Logy. It's Realogy. Realogy.
No, it's Realogy. Realogy.
Okay, anyway.
Realogy. There you go. Realogy.
Just call it Coldwell Banker.
Yeah. Coldwell Banker's bid to compel Madison. So I don't know. Is it really a good idea? How do the optics look on this, Ray? Forcing someone to close a deal if truly they have been affected by the Rona, right? So after a hearing held over Zoom, Nice plug for the platform there. On July 17th, the judge for the case, Vice Chancellor, love that title, Morgan Zern, granted the defendant's motion to dismiss Realogy's claims, attempting to force them to go through with the deal. Zern found that the acquisition failed because of Coldwell Banker's lawsuit. Just kidding. Realogy's lawsuit against Serva's private equity owner MDP violated the purchase agreement. So she's saying that Realogy, not Serva, caused the conditions to fail, according to the news outlet. In an emailed statement, a spokesperson for Realogy said, "While we are disappointed the court dismissed the specific performance remedy, we look forward to pursuing our case for the breakup fee." So it sounds like Realogy's a little bit mad about the whole "it's not you, it's me" thing.
I wonder if they had to have a court determine who broke up and all that kind of stuff before they could get to the second level. I don't know. I mean, if they were the fault of the breach, then I don't see how they can pursue unless that termination fee maybe it didn't matter.
Well, I think the termination fee was part of. I'm sure it's a part of the original contract, I'm assuming. But the judge is saying that no, you're bringing this lawsuit to force them to close, but you guys are the ones that made this fall apart.
So to kind of bring it back around, I guess you could say, Chris Sleeper said, "Great job on the show, boys. Love your commitment to the process." Well, thanks, you, man. I love you checking it out. So basically, they were trying to vertically integrate, right? That wouldn't be a horizontal integration. It'd be a vertical integration. Horizontal integration is
who?
Realogy buys a title company, buys a mortgage company, right? That would be horizontal integration. Vertical integration is they take either a supply provider or a demand provider, right? So they either maybe they buy a builder, that'd be a supply side vertical integration, or they get a bunch of buyers, and that would be a demand side vertical integration.
And by the way, that's what Pablo Escobar did to the drug trade.
There you go.
Yeah. In case you don't know how he vertically integrated, and
basically they're taking notes from the cartel. So
they're building exactly how he built, which was insane for the time.
It's a smart move. I mean, there's a lot of talk about the horizontal integration. O'Keefe Williams has made a ton of horizontal integration moves with title companies. They have their own little mortgage thing.
Right.
So there's been a ton of horizontal integration, but this is really one of the first big vertical integrations that you see, to where they were going to totally take that over. And it would basically, so they send referrals to their agents at a cost of 40%. So
to their own agents.
To their, So imagine if they bought something that was a previous expense on the spreadsheet of 40%. It's not 40. It's not 40% of all sales. It's 40% of the portion of sales that were from the Realo company.
Right.
But that's still a huge win if they could acquire them. And that looks like that has been stopped. And I wonder, like, Cartus also has business relationships with other groups outside of Realogy, I think, or Serva. So I wonder if they would have to honor those other agreements that Serva had. Anyway,
that's what I want to know. Hold on.
Just because then Keller Williams could sue for anti-competitive behavior.
So that's the thing, though, is Realogy already owns Cartus.
Well, they do.
Yeah, that's the thing, is they're trying to compel those other people. Hold on.
Serva,
Madison, Dearborn Partners, and Serva to close the deal to purchase the relocation arm of Realogy.
Oh, I'm bass backwards on this.
Well, that's
Why would they want to sell that?
That's what I wanted to break down. That's
why I was confused. Okay, that makes sense.
They're trying to sell their relocation services. So what does that say, Ray? They're trying to. What's opposite of vertical?
Yeah, I got that backwards. My bad. Yeah, it has been an important part of Realogy, a market leader of global relocation services, strong generator for affiliated agents and franchises. I don't know. That's weird.
Right. So what are they
Now
really?
I'm really confused because I was thinking that they were trying to buy another portion of a Relo, but now I don't know.
Yeah, on Realogy's website, Cartus Corporation, a Realogy company and the market leader in global mobility, has dedicated focus on creating innovative.
All right, we'll ignore everything I said. Anyway, let's talk about pools.
But what are they trying to do?
I
Are they?
don't know. It doesn't make sense. Why would they sell it if it's
They're
been
selling it, and then why are they trying to force them to close this deal to buy it? Are they hurting? Is there something going on? Are we uncovering a thing, Ray?
Well, we knew Realogy has been in pain lately.
Oh,
We've been talking about that.
so now that may speak to why they're really wanting that $30 million cancellation fee.
They need it.
I'm calling it here. They need the money. They're failing. Realogy's failing.
They had a rebrand for Coldwell Banker.
Breaking news here on the Bearded Man Real Estate Show on BNN.
Tizak said it's about the money.
It's always about the money, and that pisses me off. But why would they sell a thing that helps them be vertically integrated?
Well, what was the sell price?
$400 million.
So,
and they're looking to get that $30 million cancellation fee, which isn't even 10% of the deal.
I'm confused.
Let's talk about pools.
Let's talk about pools.
We can come back to this. We're going to research more on this.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, failed on. All right, so the coronavirus pandemic has millions of Americans shut out of public pools. So why not just rent one?
Airbnb your pool. And what's the company called, Ray?
I'll get there. So would you lease your pool for $15 to $300 per hour? Apparently, that's the new trend.
No.
Swimply.
Like Simply and Swim.
It's a 2-year-old company.
Swimplify.
That basically Airbnbs or VRBOs your pools. It's a web platform that facilitates the booking and payment of reservations. They take about 15% of the transaction. Here's the quote. "We've seen demand skyrocket. We simply cannot keep up," said Asher Weinberger, co-founder of Swimply. There are people who are now desperate to get out of their homes, and they are working from home. There's no school, there's no camp. What are parents supposed to do with the kids?
I don't know. Take them to a park.
Take them somewhere. So anyway, there's not much else to say about this, but they are scoring around the funding. Wimberger, he rents out his own pool on the platform and said the safety was an issue that was addressed, and then demand exploded. So the site lists pools in 39 states as well as Canada and Australia. It initially began with just over $1 million.
So scroll back up a little bit. It said there's a 2,000 up.
Yeah, 2,000% increase. Yeah.
2,000. Dude, doubling is 100% growth.
Lisamar said, let the kids run wild.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Mine I don't even know where mine are right now. They're just outside running around.
Whatever.
They'll be fine.
All right, so let's get into a quick deep dive topic. And this is what I want to know. And if you're watching the show and you're a real estate agent, I really want you in on this conversation. If you're not watching the show and you're a real estate agent, I really wish you would have been here. So please share the show because I also want to hear from title agents, lenders, anyone in the industry. Melissa Mara says, I could see this working. There was run on those quick pop-up pools at the stores around here. You can't find them anywhere. Yep. So I want to get into this question that I have.
And here it is. Is Realogy failing?
No, that's not it.
No.
Would a cure, which is a vaccine for COVID-19, create another unstable market crash like we had when economies around the U.S. shut down? That's the question. Let me set up the premise. Vaccine comes around. Everything starts to improve. Unemployment improves. Everybody goes back to work. Stock market improves even more than it is right now. The economy goes back. to where it was just before the pandemic, or maybe even stronger. Everything's looking golden. There's no failing banks. There's no companies that need bailed out. The government is making money on the investments that they've already made. People are paying back the loans that they made, disaster relief loans, and all the PPP stuff that they took out. So government money is coming back. They probably will have to do some kind of tax increases, right, to make up for this expenditures for all the safety equipment. And now this is also assuming that there's not a huge second wave of cases because there is a vaccine on the way, if not already there, and people are getting the vaccine and it's tamping it down. So then you have the Fed. Now I have a video on the Fed, which you should watch. I'll put a link somewhere to the video on the Fed about how the Fed works and what happens. The Fed says, wow, everything's going great. I'm not going to buy any more bonds. As a matter of fact, maybe I'll sell some bonds. So now other people are buying the bonds, which ties to the 10-year yield. The Fed is selling. The Fed is not buying bonds. And so the mortgage rate begins to increase. And maybe it goes all the way back to 3.5, 3.6%, where it was just before the pandemic happened. What would cause or not cause a market crash or a real estate crash in the case of good news, which is a vaccine coming out this fall?
By the way, let's bring up Tom's comment, which would be very awesome for him.
Yep. So this in the secondary markets, tourism markets, vacation rental markets, this is what Tom says. It would bring our market back to life as visitors can get to our island.
Yeah.
Good point.
Very solid point. Not only just get there to vacation, but get there and buy a second home.
So the secondary market may start thriving again. Tom said also, with the money that has been printed, tangible assets in real estate are a hedge against potential inflation. So he's saying with the additional monies that are out there, people can start buying properties to hedge against whatever the inflation might be, which historically has been around 2 to 3% per year.
Okay, so the question is, Ray,
would a COVID cure crash the market?
No.
Why not?
Okay, so the market was already strong before we got here, right? In January, we were already on pace to see it. And then we hit...
You're saying that the Trump economy was a great economy.
Yeah, the one that Obama started. I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. How long does someone have to take control of it? I can't remember.
I think it takes 12 years. So no presidents matter is my point.
The Bush economy that Obama then took over?
Yes. And then he took it over from Clinton before that. Yeah.
Reagan, baby.
My point is no presidents matter. It honestly doesn't matter. That's my controversy is presidents don't matter. They really don't. Anyway, I'm just kidding. I have more controversy coming up ahead in the breakdown or in the deep dive. No, it was already thriving. He had it going. Trump had it. It was Trump. It was whoever, policies from here, there, wherever. That side, this side doesn't matter, but it was thriving. It was going well.
Right.
And then we hit the uncertainty around, I think we just call it St. Patrick's Day, right around March 14th, 15th, 16th. Right around there is when we hit the uncertainty. It was like, no one's going to buy a house until this is over. That's where we were at. And literally shut down, changed our business. And again, this is just our team changed our business. It was just checking in, just follow up with people. No pushing right now. We don't know who's going to be furloughed. We don't know who's going to be losing their jobs. And then a month later, it exploded. All of a sudden, more listings, all of a sudden, more buyers. And then what did we see? To keep this going, they kept lowering interest rates, right? By the way, I think your mic, there you go. Your mic was muted. But
yeah.
So that's to keep it going. So now if this were kind of a false positive after a kind of dead market in the early part of the year, maybe it will go back to that. But it was already a strong, stable market. Remember, hypothetically, we're all built on strong mortgages. Interest rates weren't crazy. So even if they went back up, by the way, they dipped up again this week to 3.2%. So they went up another half a point. Maybe refis will slow down, but
Okay.
purchase volume still has to be there because people are realizing, either if they've been working through this and they've been forced to spend less through this, their credit
Mhm.
is going to be better. I think there's going to be stronger buyers. We're just going to need those listings.
Let me get to a couple of comments, then play devil's advocate with you.
Cool.
Melissa Mara said, no, a COVID cure would not crash the market. It would help the market. There would be plenty of people holding off on selling simply because they're afraid to have people come in and out of the house. It will help our inventory for sure, our inventory issue for sure. But you're also assuming that people are going to actually relist their property very quickly after this COVID thing, after the vaccine, and they're not going to still be fearful that something else would come out there. So I'll give you that. Okay.
But if if I get it, I can be okay. Or if I take this vaccine, I'll be okay 100%. It's going to ease things, ease people's thought process quite a bit.
So if I will give you that, let's say it does ease the thought process, and people that were thinking about selling put their home on the market more and more. They're going to be doing it in a time of year where historically a lot of people are not looking, right? Historically, real estate's somewhat seasonal. So historically, people would not be shopping as vigorously as they are right now, because right now I think you're seeing all the pent-up buyer demand come through. So if in the fall and winter they're like, well, yeah, let's go ahead and list our property, a ton of people are going to be listing their home right as people are already in their school systems, they're already set up. Well, that's a question. Will school systems matter? Because a lot of people aren't going back to school,
right? So you can move right now.
Doesn't even matter. So if inventory is healed and more people put homes on the market, and builders are finally catching up with everything that's going on and putting homes on the market, will that cure the inventory issue but create another issue in which price decreases on homes, and people then are fearful that they've missed the top? Or maybe buyers will see that and want to come back in. Let's see what Patrick Ellis Home Inspections, he's inspecting a house for me later today. He says there has to be a percentage of buyers that were not able to buy because of the virus that now can afford or show job stability to lenders that will get them into the market. He goes on to say, I think it will be a wash.
So I think that's a very interesting point, because they're not going to look at, obviously they don't know how long this for the furlough or job layoff is going to be, but lenders are forgiving that, right?
Forbearing, right?
Right. So, I mean,
you mean as somebody applies for a new loan, they're going to be looking at the history and kind of just smoothing over the whole COVID thing.
I had a job for 12 years, but I've had the last 4 months, quote unquote, off.
Right.
I'm right back to it now because there's this vaccine. Everything's fine. I think they're going to have to. It's not, you didn't quit your job. You didn't get fired. You didn't get let go. It's because of a global pandemic. So I think they're going to forgive that. And I think it's kind of what Patrick says, and kind of what you're saying, Ray. I hate to agree with you. I absolutely do. But I think it's going to be one thing will ebb and then the other thing will flow to fill that hole, just like Patrick Ellis is saying there.
Well, the problem is I'm trying to be devil's advocate and prove to you that it's going to crash, and I'm having a hard time doing it because of the ebb and flow of the market. It's just how it goes. Right. But Chris
right
Murray brings up something. This could totally crash the market. A COVID cure would accelerate eviction and foreclosure actions. Wouldn't you agree?
Okay.
So if there is a COVID cure, then the banks don't have to be as forgiving of people not paying their mortgage, which they don't have to be right now. I think there's some guidance by the government, but I think only on certain types of loans, right? I don't think it's on everything. But
well, and also though, more people would go back to work, which means more people can afford their rent again. And
you're assuming that they would pay their rent with the first monies and not pay off whoever they borrowed the money from to survive, right? So what does the credit picture look like for the average financial COVID survivor? For the average American Joe that maybe they got laid off for a month and a half or something like that, went back to work. What is their credit picture? They got $1,200 to $4,200, whatever it is,
Yeah.
$4,400. What is their status financially? Are they in debt? Did they put a bunch of stuff on cards? Because there was a story that we didn't include because it was more about an unsecured credit, but there was a story about people putting a lot on credit cards through the COVID time. And what is that? What's that going to do for stability?
Well, I think it's a great point because they do have to pay it back. But as far as loans go and mortgage forbearance goes, I think the easiest solution is they're going to kind of refi it and to put it onto the back of the loan. It's not going to be, all right, you got your job back, give us $6,000.
Chris Murray said right now it's not even that banks are being forgiven. They're not foreclosing because once they foreclose, they can't evict and they don't want the liability of owning the house.
He knows stuff. That's a good comment.
Yeah,
Chris, he doesn't know that much, but that's a pretty good comment, buddy. I swear.
Melissa Mara said true, but I think all the people that are trying hard to get into a house keep getting beat out. They aren't going to just stop because of the season. If people want to move, they're going to move. So you're saying that they have a motivation to move that's separate and apart from a really low interest rate.
Yeah. So here, I'll play the devil's advocate part. I think I got one, Ray.
Okay.
Right now, it's a frenzy. People are like, oh my gosh, I know there's a thing going on, but I kept my job. I make the same money, if not more. I got a bonus. My credit's better than ever. We've got that 20% down payment and interest rates are crazy low. I need to go overbid on a house. That is going to go away. Now, if that goes away, coupled with the fact that you said now sellers like, well, I missed the top. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait another year and see if I can hit another top again. See if there's another global pandemic again. See if they bring interest rates back down again. And all of a sudden, there's no interest. Or, I think I can prove that it's gonna crash.
Okay, let's go.
Or enough people finally realize I got to list my house. We're at the top. I got to list my house.
Okay.
So they list.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're way over where it should be, where a normal market would be, right?
You're saying that of the 1.57 million homes on the market,
all of them,
we get more than 1.57 million more homes on the market.
Again, yes.
We're short twice.
With
right?
new construction and with new homes or with resale homes. I'm Susie Orman. By the way,
average days on market then goes to 90 to 120 days
overnight. I'm totally
Susie
Ormaning this thing.
A total buyer market. Right.
But they all these they're like, all right, we got to list our house. We're at the top. Our realtor has finally convinced us we're at the top, and boom, they all list and they list too high. Vaccine comes in. Now all of a sudden buyers are like, I don't need to pay that.
Right.
There's a vaccine. Things are going to chill out. Interest rates have gone back up a full half a point. That just costs
going to wait. Right.
I'm just going to wait. And now there's this wave with no support under it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could crash it, Ray. I think that could crash.
So by crash, you mean it could lower the home prices to become more affordable to your average buyer,
and only by about 3%. But anyway, that's a crash because I'm being sensational, Ray.
Okay. And this is kind of like my conundrum because we're first on this prediction that a COVID cure will crash the market, but we are not going to be last. I'm literally predicting the headlines of the future right now. So this is why I wanted to bring it up. There is the ebb and flow. Whenever the pandemic happened, there was a way that we found to sell houses, but it was not just us selling the houses. It was serving our clients who needed to move, right? So we were still selling those houses. So no matter what happens, real estate is going to stay relatively secure, but I wouldn't doubt that you're going to see a huge price drop, huge price reductions in the real estate market. And that is going to be because right now you have insanely high priced houses that are all closing above, false ceiling, above all the appraised values, right? I mean, you have people just bringing cash to the table because it didn't appraise. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to, and so you have all of these homes that are closing.
For Chris Murray.
Right. What that's going to do 6 months from now, 5 months from now is when a home gets appraised. And when you're doing a comparative market analysis for someone who wants to sell in October, you're going to say, wow, look at all these home prices. Your home actually appreciated 20% this year. But if there's a COVID cure and everything's kind of chill and the rates go up a little bit and the market kind of recovers, or maybe it's not October, maybe it's February, right? Whenever this happens, you're going to say, well, maybe you can sell at 350, and they wind up selling 300. You're like way off. So be sure you think about it as you're comparing to these crazy hot markets. I don't know how long this crazy hot market's going to last. That homes are selling way above what they should sell, right? I have no idea. But I know that's going to affect the valuations. And when that happens, you'll hear the news say home price gains slow. Then they'll say this is the first price decrease of homes since when?
Whatever.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. And then you're going to have a lot of people freaking out predicting the next recession,
right?
Because you see the contraction in seller equity. And it's not a contraction. It is a contraction, but it's like you're taking this leftover reserve that we have right now, and that's going to go away. And when that goes away, there you go. The cure is going to crash the real estate market. All right, wait.
Just say it.
Chris Murray says there's never been a better time than now to get into your new home before kids go back to school.
Yeah, you can be into it in 4 hours. That's the average days on market.
Ryan says, I think builders are aware of the low inventory. At least I'm seeing it here, and have dropped a lot more specs. It'll be interesting to see if stats start to increase over the next 90 days. We did talk a little bit about home starts last week. I think that they were going back up.
Yeah. Up to 72 points. So,
yeah. Mike Elizabeth Rodell said, wouldn't a buyer's market be amazing? Yeah, she's never worked in a buyer's market, which is kind of interesting. Chris Murray said, supply and demand is ultimately what dictates everything. True. Clayton Fernando Shrim says, well, it's 2020. So we need to be talking about what the next big thing this year will be. Alien attack, Yosemite volcano eruption. Trump is actually a Cheeto dressed as a man. Crab people attack. What about... I saw one the other day about Biden being a total shell of a human, and he's actually a robot, a flesh-colored robot. And the reason why he can't remember stuff is because he's short-circuiting.
Zuckerberg actually is a robot. I don't know if you've seen the recent pics, but he's full on. His skin's sticking off and everything.
I saw that. That was hilarious.
He's a robot.
Chris said, I meant you have 8 months to find the home before kids go back to school.
Yeah, there you go. That's what he meant.
Yeah, you do have a long time before the kids go back to school.
Plenty of time. It's better. Time. You can go virtually learn from anywhere. Yeah. So why don't we sell your home and move to Arkansas? So
there you go. You can buy a castle here for what a little apartment costs.
So here's my controversy. Ready?
Yep.
So vaccines, very, very, very polarizing subject in here in the Americas.
Really?
Yeah, not right now.
Okay.
Mass shootings, vaccines. You know, people really aren't talking about that stuff, but they are talking about the Rona a lot and riots. But it's funny to watch the news cycle and what things get covered when other things are still happening. They're just like, well, it's not going to get me any views, so I'm not going to cover it right now. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, cool. Anyway, this is a vaccine. This isn't if I get the Rona, I just take this pill or this little sippy sip and I'm cured.
Right.
This is I don't have it.
You subject yourself to the virus.
A vaccine, like just the flu shot. Flu shot is a vaccine. Flu shot is they are trying to predict what the next flu strain will be. Mm-hmm. They usually miss it and you get the flu. Now it's usually mild, but what that does is it builds up your immunity and so on. So are people going to get this vaccine knowing that it is a potentially live strain of the Rona? You're going to get the coronavirus possibly. And they're guessing at this. They're guessing this is the strain that cures or prevents you from getting the Rona. Are people going to actually take it and actually go there? Or are they going to think the government is trying to microchip them?
Microsoft.
Yes. And Bill Gates is trying to Microsoft them. So, and I'm asking a serious question. Are people really going to go get this vaccine? Because right now, it seems like people wouldn't go. Now, they would if they get the Rona going, oh, doc, I got the Rona. can I have that little thing, please? Sure. They would do that 100%. But will they preventatively take this vaccine?
I think you'll see a ton of people that do because they're scared to death. There's a ton of people that are scared to death of this thing.
Right.
Yeah. So I think
there's also a ton of people that aren't.
It's true. Mike Elizabeth says mandatory mark of the beast hashtag. Oh, yeah.
I already have that. It's actually, you guys have never seen my my love lines here, but it's actually a pentagram. Look at that.
I thought it was the Monster. I thought it was the Monster energy drink. There was somebody on YouTube talking about that. All right. So Ryan Bokros says, does the cure actually open up the market more because people get back to work and we see a shift to a buyer market?
So remember, it's not a cure. It's a prevent that people would have to take.
I think we're calling it the cure just for ease of. So let's say, so there's a vaccine. So this is his premise against my faux prediction that the market's going to crash.
Your own faux prediction.
Well, trying to get ahead of the news cycles here.
Which that part is not faux. We're predicting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're going to see this article and we're going to bring it up and totally do an I told you so Instagram vid on it. All right. So Ryan says there's a cure. People go back to work. And how does them going back to work create a shift to a buyer's market? So people go back to work. That means that more people can purchase a home because they have the ability to get a loan from a lender. That does not in itself create a buyer's market.
Well, in a market where there's just not, we need how many, Ray? 1.5 million homes.
We need double the current inventory. So that doesn't do anything for the inventory, which the inventory is what would shift it to a buyer's market.
Right.
So instead you might see a more of a shift to a buyer's market simply because fewer buyers are buying, even though they have the power to buy, because then the rates are going to go up.
But it would just even out, though. It would just be more of an even market with 3-4 months of inventory again. That doesn't necessarily mean a buyer's market.
Not just because people are going to work, though. Not
right. I know. I'm playing devil's advocate to your devil's advocate. I don't know where we're at in this. I don't know which side we're on.
Ryan, I need more factors here to prove to me that this is going to be a buyer's market, because right now, this is good. He says he's flattening the curve. Yeah, okay. Flattening the supply and demand curve. Okay. Clayton says, I can't wait till the Rona is gone. I have a lot of clients in the oil industry, and since people aren't working and driving, price of gas can't go up. So oil is hurting. That's true.
Dude, Clayton, I mentioned this. I don't know if it was in the Be More Contributors group or in the messenger, but by the way, if you're not a member of Be More Contributors, go look it up. BMORE Contributors with an exclamation point. We post lots of things there, lots of good conversation. I'm dealing with more traffic than ever. So, we opened up and then we kind of went back a little bit because whatever, it doesn't matter.
You mean like actual car traffic?
Car traffic. When that's a thing.
I don't know what happened there.
So there's more jokes, but we're not going to. Our listeners at home are not going to get the joke. So, yeah, when this first happened for the first month and a half, I mean, it was dead. There was just no traffic. I think people were afraid, and even if they were working, they were only, they're only going to work and then back home, or they were telecommuting. But they now, I mean, it's normal to me. This is normal traffic, if not more to me.
Elizabeth said Mike keeps getting a paycheck but hasn't gone to work in 6 months. He's in oil. So Pete Thorpe, what's up, Pete? Looking beautiful. He says it's going to be a while before the Rona is gone. Schools here are virtual until January 29th. Wow. Limp microphone. Yeah, he saw it.
I love that.
Chris said, you should go get a Swimply promo code. I just signed up to rent my pool. That is awesome. Way,
Leaper and I
don't welcome. You're welcome, Leaper.
Leaper and I don't live that far away. So I was just going to go use this pool with the kids, but now I got to pay for it. Because of Swimply.
Melissa said a 2-hour ride for Dan turned into a 45-minute breeze.
Oh, yeah. It was awesome. Everywhere I was going, because here in Southern California, you have to always take 60 miles an hour will get you 45 miles gets you there in 45 minutes, right? Or if you're going 80, you're going to get there in less than 45 minutes. So for a while, it was like, dude, I could go somewhere 30 miles away and get there in about 20 minutes. That is very unusual. And also, smog was gone. Things were clearing up. It's not the case anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
here, it's not really changed much here. We never really did shut down here. There's not much going on. Chris Sleeper City, welcome, Dan, anytime.
For a small fee through Swimply.
Yeah, please sign up. Use the promo code.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm welcome anytime. I just have to go through Swimply. I can't actually call him.
That's right. You can't call his people anymore.
No.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us for the Bearded Men of Real Estate show. We do appreciate if you share. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can go back and see some of the other videos. So please do that and let other people know, because we do this show for us, but we also do it for you. We like this info, but I can read all of the info that we read today in about an hour. So going through it, and that's going through it in detail. So discussing it with you kind of opens up a lot for us as we hear kind of feedback and what's going on in your markets, and we just enjoy the community too. So please share it to share our community.
Red shade. And what you really noticed was you saw, love you too, man, red coat, red shade. But what you guys really saw is, as this discussion goes on, Ray and I are having these discussions live. I don't know if a lot of agents can do that, so I am patting ourselves on the back a little bit. But you saw us go on both sides of the issue. We're trying to kind of learn this ourselves, and then hopefully that helps you guys learn,
There you go. Clayton says, sad I won't see y'all in August. Why not? What?
Tom Ferry.
Oh, that's right.
We can still see each other. We just
I thought he meant like the show. I was like, man, we're still going to be doing the show.
Yeah, we'll be here.
David says, winter short SB, which I think he actually meant winter shirts being shipped.
Right.
David, we have to go get them. So they are printed. I just got word yesterday that they're being printed. So we're going to be mailing them out probably tomorrow or Friday. And then you'll know, because you'll get a ding. You'll get a charge when we've confirmed that your shipment and everything's correct.
Hey, and can I tease them a little bit, Ray, with what we have been working on?
Yeah,
we are getting closer and closer to the new technology, which will open up a lot of things we can do. And then I've actually been working on things that Ray doesn't know I'm working on, because I have no idea how to do it or if it'll even work. But new software that we're working on using, it's way more involved than I anticipated. And if you guys saw the other night, I was trying to go live with it just to figure out how to go live through this thing. Yeah. But the things that it can do, and then the other stuff that I'm working on that Ray doesn't know about, it's gonna really push the show. But we do need the support. You guys got to watch. You got to share, please. It really helps us push the show. Like Ray said, we love doing this. We love getting the info out there, and it really does help us be better. And hopefully it helps you guys get better. Remember, we don't get paid doing this. We literally had new shirts made to give all the money away. So we love it. We want to keep doing it. It's going to keep getting better and better. We are growing, and we need your help for that. So please, and I never ask for help, but please just keep sharing and keep interacting with us. And we love you guys so much.
Yeah. Somebody asked about what the shirts looked like. It was listen, learn, love shirts. We will have some more Bearded Men of Real Estate shirts that will go to help fund some of the upgrades and updates that we're doing for the show. So
another round. We're gonna do a camo version. Oh, Ray, what if we did a camo with the gold leaf?
We got to do a gold one. We have to do a gold one. Chris says this is a controversial part. Share it, bitches.
Share it, bitches. There you go. That's it right there.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining the show. Dan, before we leave, where can everybody find you?
I'm over on MapQuest at D Ludwig Rocks, right. or Pinterest or find me on Swimply at D Ludwig Rocks.
Find his pull on Swimply. You can find me at there you go, and you can find me at Ray Zorback, RayZorback on the Instagrams and on the webs. So bye y'all. Thanks for joining us.
Love you guys.